Hi, I hope you're all having a nice March break, at least getting some break. I know that everybody's busy working on final papers for all their courses, but I hope you managed to get a little bit of sunshine, even though it's not really warm. Thank you to Saum for moderating this week on evaluation and assessment. And I just wanted to mention two sort of takeaways from this week on assessment. One is that the use of educational technologies for assessment in language and literacies education, I think offers us additional ways to carry out both formative and summative assessments. And I don't think it's useful to see it as a kind of replacing the existing pencil and paper or other methods that we currently use. I see it as kind of increasing the repertoire and the available methods, and it seems to me the more different kinds of ways you assess, the better chance you have of really getting a sense of diverse learners learning, and so that really it's a helpful kind of thing. But I know that there was a tone in some of the articles that sort of made it sound like, well, you should just be doing nothing else but that. But the I think it offers new possibilities that didn't exist before, and perhaps in the kind of immersive ones, these are immersive situation. These are very different ways of assessing activity, and you can do it in a more contextualized way. So I just think it's a new possibility, but it doesn't replace the other ones, and particularly because these technologies are not really there, fully available yet. This is work that's sort of looking ahead at what might be. So, and the second issue is that I do think that technology does offer particular affordances that didn't exist before. The one I still am the most fond of, though, although I think there's a lot of exciting things that will come down the pipes, which can help, I think, both for languages and literacies education. But my favorite is that this being able to see a trace of student understanding over time, because of the permanence of online materials, whether it's written or whether it's textual or video or mixed media, allows us as teachers to see different kinds of things. So you can see a view of student understanding over time, but it also gives students a way of understanding their own learning over time. And I think that's something we haven't really capitalized on yet. I don't think we've really figured out how to use that, how to do that well. It's one of the things that I want us to do more with Pepper, actually, and to figure out how do we give feedback, how do we use these kinds of online artifacts in ways that allow students to get a better understanding and a sort of more metacognitive perspective on their own learning. And I think there's a lot of very interesting work to be done then. And I think that's different from the kind of Pepper, well, actually not just Pepper, but the learning analytics literature, which is about using the down to the sort of keystroke, getting pictures of online activity. I think that's very interesting too. But I think that staying with the content of what people produce as part of their learning shows. I think that has the most kind of potential for ongoing assessments as educational technology continues to sort of extend into our education system, which I certainly see it doing. For good or ill, it ain't going away. So. For this next week, starting on Monday, really, I've changed it up a little bit in the week, and I've put an explanation and a description of what to do here. So this is the last week where we cover new material, and I wanted to try something a bit different, and I want you to focus on a particular idea of interest to you and relevant to your professional academic focus, which may additionally be the focus of your final paper. And think about that issue in relation to one of the technologies in either reading 2, which is the Horizon Report, and I think you can apply that one to the multiliteracies, or reading 3, which is the Calico special issue about language learning and where language learning is headed. So I think everybody should first read the Greenough et al. Article reading, which sets out the future research agenda for learning and teaching and scholarship in a digital age, and it defines some of the key issues like equity and identity development. And you could take a focus from there if you like, from that article, but it also just sort of sets up the whole kind of frame. And then you can pick either a future technology described in the Horizon Report and think, particularly one that you would be interested in exploring further in your own teaching, and write about that in relation to the multiliteracies teaching, particularly, maybe within a specific area. It doesn't have to be a very long paper. I've got this, I've said 2 single-spaced pages, or a single, but probably not less than a single-spaced page. But more importantly, what I want you to do is actually copy it. You can write it in Word, but then copy and paste it directly into a Pepper window so that it looks like a regular note rather than an attachment, because that way people can read it more easily, because it takes away from the, you keep having to open something and then look somewhere else for it. But I want it all to be, so you can open them like they were regular notes, right, in the note list. And you can put the multiliteracies education notes can go in here, and the language education related ones can go in here. So, and then I suggest you read each other's and maybe comment, see if there are things of interest and issues that arise out of the work that you're doing. So it's a very kind of spontaneous reaction that you can have to this material. So if you have questions about that, let me know. I've tried to sort of lay it out clearly in here, but you know that you can just copy all of the material in a Word file and paste it directly into the edit window of a Pepper note. So do that, and that way everybody can read those easily. And just while we're on it, I'm just going to make a quick comment about this, which is the final assignment. View. This is for planning. So if you have more questions, you can put them in here and ask me. I have a start, stop, and continue, which is something in addition to the formal course evaluation, which you will be or have probably been notified about. I always put in a start, stop, and continue note. So it's a co-authored note, so I don't know whose comments are whose. I just know that, there are people in the class. And you can more directly comment on particular aspects of the course that you liked, and if you like them, they should go in the continue section. That you disliked, or those should go onto the stop, and all the things that I should consider introducing, which is the start. And feel free to be critical. It's okay. I find this very helpful, actually, because I am not you, and so I need to know from you what what works, and that way it makes it possible to go on modifying the course to make it better for everybody. Okay, so I think that's that. I'm going to make it short and sweet this week, and I will talk to you again next week. Enjoy the remaining few days of March break. Okay, take care.